Before you finalize that ticket, before you set that roster, you need the edge. Welcome to the 1 hour window that separates the winners from the losers. We're diving deep into the spreads, the over-unders, the value plays, and the sleepers you must start. Stop guessing and start winning. This is the Gridiron Gurus, providing the ultimate NFL advantage exclusively on the Empty the Bench Network.
All right, good morning, everybody. We're back here for our playoff edition of Gridiron Gurus, and honestly, what a great first day. But before we get into that, let's remind people to follow us on YouTube at UT Network. Follow the show at TFP Forecast TV. That's where we, record, and our predictions, and we give you guys the links for the shows and all that stuff. So follow us over there on Twitter or any social media, really. Before we get into the recaps of the first Saturday game, Saturday games, which were both great. I don't think there's really anyone who's out per se for playoff teams because of the fact that it's the playoffs, and if they can play, they're gonna play. I mean, I even looked at ESPN, and there's no who's in, who's out tab for storylines. I mean, I can look on Twitter, but I doubt that there's gonna be anybody listed. I don't think so. Injuries, let's see. Let me just put NFL. I mean,
I'm going to check some of the teams that are playing, like the Niners. See if they have anything.
I mean, the Bills placed Josh Palmer on IR and signed a linebacker to the 53-man roster and elevated a defensive end and Frank Gore, but that's all I see. Let's see, anything else?
Scheffler tweeted just the Jags and Bills. De'Ami Brown, DJ Dallas, Cole Van Lennon, Hunter Long, Emmanuel Agba, Mason Smith are all inactive. And then Terrell Barnard, Darnell Savage, Ty Johnson, Maxwell Harrison, Larry Ogunjobi, that's inactive for that game. Which the only one that actually kind of matters, there's really two, I think, that kind of matter there, and that's Ty Johnson and De'Ami Brown. He's a running back.
Those are both decent wide receivers, I'd say.
But Ty Johnson's a running back. De'Ami Brown's a wide receiver.
Oh, Ty Johnson's a running back.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm getting my Johnsons mixed up because of the fact that there's a lot of Johnson wide receivers in the league. But let's get into the recaps of the games here that were yesterday. So I didn't get to watch much of the Bears or the Rams Panthers game. I watched all of the Bears Packers game. I'm sorry. But the Panthers put up a fight against the Rams again. The Rams did come out victorious, 31 20, 28 or something.
It's some 24, I think.
Let me actually look that up because I feel like I'm actually getting our score and their score mixed up. Rams Panthers 34 31.
34-31, yeah.
Rams.
I watched since when the Panthers blocked the punt. That's when I started watching. So that was like 2 minutes.
I thought the Panthers would win after that.
So did I.
Oh my god!
And then
honestly, you go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. After that, they scored. They did some type of points, and then the Rams scored. Or no, they didn't score. They did not score after that. And the Rams went down, scored, and then I thought Bryce Young was going to do it. He has 12 game-winning drives in his career. Of his 14 wins, he's got 12. So
yeah, that's impressive.
I thought he was going to do it. He obviously didn't pull it out, but it would have been huge for the Bears.
But he had a good game. It's not going away from the fact that he didn't have a good game. He had a good game. He just the Rams had a better defensive plan for the end. That's all.
Yeah, that's really all it was.
But let's go into our respected team and that matchup because we have a banner that's game of the week after this, and I'm just gonna come out and say it. Our game was the game of the week. I mean, and there's an argument since it's the playoffs that every game is game of the week because it's all playoff teams. But man, I mean, last night, like every other Bears game this year, we go into halftime. We're down 21-3, and the third quarter was no different. But that clock starts in the fourth quarter, and Caleb just flips the switch, and
it's our defense too. Like they just flip the switch after halftime. Ben Johnson has to start saying what he says at halftime at the start of the game because there's some. I guess he says something because in the post game.
Morning, Ben.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on? What's going on? We're talking about Bears Packers right now.
Oh, listen, I was hanging out with some friends last night via on FaceTime, and I kept checking the score. I think you guys were down 21-9. I'm pretty sure.
21-3. We were down 18.
21-3. Yeah. But in the back of my head, I'm like, if there's any team of this NFL that could make this game a close game this year, because they've just been playing close games no matter what, it's the Bears. Yeah. And when it got to 21-9 with like 13 minutes or whatever in the fourth quarter, I'm like, yeah, this game is far from over. If the Bears specifically can get it down, you saw what happened when the Packers played Chicago during the regular season, and it looked like all but over. And look what happened. So you got to give a lot of credit to the Bears at being able to kind of adjust their game plan from the first half. I obviously know Caleb had 2 interceptions. I think one of them specifically looked like a miscommunication.
Yeah, the Luther one.
I'd say one of them was really more him. But you give him credit in the most. And that's really when I kind of turned it back on to watch it. And he made some throws. The one that really stood out to me was the throw he made to Rome, running on fourth down.
The fourth down,
And,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
When it was needed most, that specific one, I'm like, that was with Caleb Williams that I think a lot of people remembered via from the USC days. And that's a guy to me, and I know obviously during football forecast, I definitely, I'm not really on some of the people's like hatred side of the Bears. I won't say names, but I've been very like indifferent with them.
We know who you're talking about.
And it's really not a shot at him because I definitely respect what he's trying to say too. But I'm very indifferent then because I will give him credit where credit's due.
You kind of cut out there. We'll see what
the Patriots. I'd say maybe more on a difficult level because the Bears really, and you guys obviously definitely know it firsthand, that the Bears really haven't had a quarterback of this magnitude and really in a lot of their franchise. So I think for Bears fans specifically, I think it's just really awesome to kind of see a draft guy, especially after a lot of people kind of doubted him with the coach that guy last year, and really able to kind of put it all together this year, and just to kind of see what he's done. And I know, people are going to say at this point in time, well, they're probably the Bears could be potentially a Super Bowl contending type of team. I think they're very similar as how the Patriots have been, and they've already kind of exceeded expectations. This is kind of a team I think.
Yeah, it's just that game. That game you have to win. Like, I know we exceeded expectations immensely. Getting to the playoffs, getting the 1 seed, or getting the 2 seed, getting the number 1 in the North. But against the Packers, you have to win.
No, 100%. I definitely I agree with that. And that could be potentially, depending on how the Pats, of course, do tonight, which, of course, we'll talk about. But if the Pats somehow make a deep run and they get the chance to play against the Bills, that essentially would kind of be our Packers-Bears. And I'm not saying that we're really rivals with the Bills. I mean, of course, we're division rivals. But, like, the Packers and Bears do not like each other. And it's been at a forefront for many, many years.
It's been a hatred for 106 years, pal.
It's crazy.
Whenever the NFL started, that's when the Bears Packers hatred started.
Yeah, I mean, you could say with a lot of rivalries. I mean, look at at least around me in the Northeast, like Pats and Jets. I mean, we don't like the Jets, even though the Jets just been an absolute dumpster fire for years. Red Sox, Yankees, you name it. But definitely the Midwest. I mean, that's definitely Packers, Bears. It's definitely up there for when it comes to rivalries. And
yesterday was a great day for all Chicago teams. Everyone won. Everyone won, and the Cubs got your Red Sox guy.
Yeah, that's probably why I didn't want to put the game on until the fourth quarter. I had to cope my sorrows away, even though specifically this point in time, and I don't really want to get off topic, but it's being in Chicago, so I'll obviously talk about it with you guys. But I was kind of at the forefront that Bregman was going to come back after kind of other teams are kind of starting to back out. But I'm like, the more that he waited, there's a chance of potentially it happening. And the Cubs were looking at Bregman last year; they didn't get him. So when Bregman essentially didn't, he had an opt-out on his deal. I mean, he decided to take it, and it's just kind of been the way that the franchise has been kind of run now. Unfortunately, I was obviously very disappointed last night. And of course, how can I not? But it's just kind of the way. I mean, obviously you lose Devers. You've lost Mookie Betts. You've lost a massive cornerstone to what this franchise could have been. And it sucks. It just really, really sucks. But I've just kind of learned and accepted the fact is that this franchise, which I love and I still will love, is not going to be the same when it comes to running their business. And the Cubs are going to get a really good player. Reggie was real. I mean, I mean, Bregman's obviously a really good overall player, but the one thing that Bregman, obviously, I think a lot of the young kids like Roman Anthony, who's obviously one of the top prospects in the game, but of course he's with us, which I'm happy about. He basically just raved about the leadership that Bregman brought. I mean, he basically would kind of go next to him during games and iPad him specifically stuff that he could work on. Like, it was just very, very eye opening. And it's like specifically how the Red Sox kind of replace that. I know, of course, we got a former Cub, Wilson Contreras, um, which I know he was really, really good with the Cubs for a while, and I liked this game from afar. So I guess we kind of have to flip flop in a little bit of a way, but we definitely need more for sure. And
Yeah.
it definitely hurt to say the least. The deal was in deferral money. I think it was like 70 million of the 135. I think was in deferral money. That makes definitely the Red Sox look really, really bad. But I don't know where we go. I mean, I think Bobish is kind of at the forefront, but
Yeah.
I don't believe the Red Sox will do it. But going back out to Chicago, your Bears specifically, it was just such an electric game. The game line against the Packers in Chicago, but definitely. I mean, the comeback that you had in Chicago in the regular season was more of like the onside kick. Romeo Dobbs obviously included it, and of course you had some magic at the end there. The Packers specifically, I mean, obviously, of course, you guys are happy, but I look at the Packers side of things, and something in their coaching staff has got to be addressed because, I mean, yeah, I think LaFleur obviously has a lot of tools. I think Jordan Love definitely has the tools to be a very good quarterback. And they have the pieces offensively. I mean, defensively, specifically, they're giving up a lot of chunk plays, in which specifically the Bears had to have it when they had to have it, and give them credit for that.
You're kind of cutting in and out.
It really, really is.
Nope.
Yeah.
You're cutting in and out.
You're cutting in and out because you're driving. But
okay. Did you hear part of what I was saying?
Yeah, we heard it.
Portion, yeah. I mean, you cut in and out a couple times. But
I mean, I had a feeling I was probably gonna cut out time to time, so I'll try to do what I can. But
we got most of it.
Okay.
Yeah, we got most of it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think that I mean, there is an argument for LaFleur to be fired because the fact that he lost like the last 5 games. But at the same time, I'd rather face LaFleur than having to possibly face John Harbaugh because Michael alluded to it before starting that Harbaugh is from Michigan and knows a lot about the Packers. And I'm going to say it. I think we can beat LaFleur more often than we could beat Harbaugh. So, and I'm pretty sure we would have heard something by now if LaFleur was fired. But we'll get into the coaching cycle in a little bit before the end of this one. So let's get into the next topic.
I just want to say something about the Bears-Packers game. I mean, man, I'm going to say this. I gave up. I shouldn't have. I was just mixed emotions flying around. I'm not going to lie. I gave up. I texted Grant. I was like, our defense sucks. This game's over. But that's how I forgot we're the Cardiac Bears, and now we can finally play.
Hey, I'll tell you this though. I mean,
I just said what was on everyone's mind. All right,
you and me are even because I did almost jinx us in the Bengals game. So
yeah.
So
I'm telling you guys, and you guys probably heard it from me during the football forecast. I said, do you want to hear the good news and do you want to hear the bad news? And I said the bad news is I picked the Packers to win. I mean, was I confident in the pick? No. I think specifically it was kind of more of a pick 'em because it was a 1.5 point spread. But I told myself, I said, you know what? I said I said if the Bears are going to win this game, and the Packers, the way things are going to go, it's going to be in a shootout because both teams specifically have their own flaws. I feel like you kind of saw it somewhat at the forefront last night. The Packers specifically, without Micah Parsons, you probably saw it firsthand last night. The Packers defense is it's completely different. They give up a lot of explosive plays, and which of course you saw last night, including the touchdown to once again DJ Moore under a minute left. And yeah, they just don't have the same pass rush. They just really don't.
No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was right around that. So yeah, I mean, I picked the over, and I was 2 for 2 yesterday. I was very surprised for sure.
I was also 2 for 2.
Right.
Yeah. I think I picked the Rams to win, but I did choose the
I don't
know.
I went over, and then I picked the Bears as my lock.
I picked the Bears as my lock too, so I got 2 points for that, or extra points for that. But but let's go into the game of the week here. And honestly, there's an argument for us to say that with bias aside, even though people might not believe us, there's a possibility that it was last night's game.
Yeah.
I mean,
if we're going off the games that are happening today and Monday, I think you say the Monday night game is going to be toilet bowl game of the week just because the defense is there. The offenses aren't the greatest, but their defenses are very good. So you never know what's going to happen there. It could be a low-scoring game. For first to score 2 touchdowns wins that game. But like, if I'm picking a game of the week, it's going to be the Bills-Jags, just because I don't think there's going to be any defense whatsoever.
I agree with you.
The only reason why I'm not saying the Pats-Chargers, because I think the Pats are just going to mop the floor with them.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
That's
right. I think it's going to be that Bills-Jags game. The first game of the slate, it's going to be the game of the week.
Yeah, I agree with you, Michael, because literally – now, I'm going to say this. About the Bills. If they want to win the Super Bowl, this is their best shot because Josh Allen does not have to deal with Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, or Joe Burrow.
But he has to deal with Drake May.
If he doesn't,
I'm right.
I'm going to say this. If he doesn't win today, I don't know when he gets a Super Bowl.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I don't think he wins a Super Bowl if he doesn't win it this year.
That's a fair statement.
Just because Mahomes is gonna be back, who knows what the Bengals are gonna do? Drake May is coming into his own now. Like Patriots are forced to be reckoned with in that. Bo Nix is playing out of his mind too. Like quarterback T-Law, even T-Law is playing insane right now. Like
and another thing too to keep in mind is the coaching carousel that happens. Half the league specifically has coaches that are needed, and you probably think that maybe with some of the coaches that they bring, a team can bring in, it could be a massive difference maker to a team in the AFC. So, you look at the Ravens and. I mean, Harbaugh specifically, and I think I heard Grant specifically when you were talking about LaFleur and Harbaugh. And I respectfully disagree, I think, to one of the points I think most of it you're pretty much right. But Harbaugh has had his fair share of late game collapses too. And at least in the Ravens specifically.
In terms of late game collapses, like last night with LaFleur, that is like Falcons Patriots Super Bowl type of collapse. Like
it's the Patriots one specifically. That was completely. I was 25 points with legitimately going to the fourth quarter. I mean that specifically you don't see that often. If ever, especially in the Super Bowl. I mean, granted, the Bears obviously had a very good comeback. And I definitely give them a lot of credit, but the magnitude specifically and pretty much for everything specifically had to go right for the Pats to make that comeback happen, it happened. So it's just so.
Yeah, I just don't want Harbaugh on the Packers just because I would rather play LaFleur than Harbaugh.
100%. No, I
was the main
100%
point.
agree with that.
Yeah. And I feel like if we would have heard something about LaFleur, we would have heard something by now. I mean, well,
I don't know. I think we hear something. It would be like Monday, I think.
Schefter had something too, I think, on the countdown this morning about the Packers and their future. I don't know exactly what it was because I was at work, but and potentially is probably about his future specifically.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I watched a little bit.
I watched that clip too. Yeah, he said something like it's up to to like the. I don't even remember the guy's name who it's up to, but because the thing is, the Packers don't have ownership. The state of Wisconsin owns the Packers. It's not like a person. It's hundreds of thousands of people have like stakes in. It's a board of people. It's not one, billionaire. Like every other team in the NFL. But in terms of the toilet bowl game, I mean, you can't necessarily say that there is one because it's the playoffs. But I do agree with Michael's statement on the Steelers and who are the
Texans?
Texans, because both defenses are great. The offenses are okay. Now, if I'm being honest with you, I'm going to say this. I do believe that the Texans will win handily because they have a younger quarterback. I think their defense is a little bit better than the Steelers. But Mike Tomlin is still got his, 10th win. So it's not another 9-8 season, for him, even though he's got plenty of those. Ben,
if the Jags win or lose to the Bills, I'll be rooting for the Steelers to win. I don't want the Pats to play the Texans.
Oh, okay.
I'll be rooting.
I was trying to figure out what you're trying to get to.
Yeah, I'm like, why, man?
I'll be rooting for the Steelers.
I mean, and there's that, and the thing about the topic, the banner is, unlike in the regular season, there's only what 4 games to choose from.
Yeah.
Technically, because we can't say that yesterday either of those games were 12 games of the week.
No, they definitely could be up there for the whole games of the weekend.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I think every game this year in the playoffs is going to be like that, though.
Yeah, that's a big reason. I think a lot of people are very happy the Chiefs did not make it.
Yeah.
So,
because then it would be 12 bowl game of the week for one team, and then a terrible.
Although to be honest, this year's Chiefs, if they made the playoffs, I feel like they would be kind of like every other team, to be honest, because they kind of really this year if they won the games you saw what happened last year with them. They made the Super Bowl, but do you actually look at that team specifically and be like, they were great?
No.
Not really, no.
There you go.
They just had Mahomes.
They had Mahomes. You obviously have Reed, so obviously have great talent. It reminded me of some. I will say this for some of the past teams. There was a couple teams that I saw that I'm like, there's no way that they made the Super Bowl, compared to some other ones. But the Chiefs last year, and when the Eagles defense just went ferocious on the offensive line, I'm like, okay, they finally got exposed. Which I'm like, it took them long enough, for that to happen. But and I feel like the Broncos kind of have a little bit of that this year in terms of like they kind of have that mantra of, is the team? I think the team is good, but we're gonna have to really kind of see it when it matters on the big stage. Kind of like the Pats tonight. I will say that. But yeah, I mean, obviously we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I just think that terms about the games this weekend, the toilet bowl game of the week, guys, and you might think I'm crazy for this, I think it could be the Niners-Eagles. And the reason why I say that is the Niners definitely are very banged up, and they've kind of overcame a lot of odds specifically. And the Eagles specifically have a ton of questions. Saquon's obviously not the same guy he once was last year. I mean, granted, obviously, he had just had a great year, and I think Saquon's still a great back, but they're having a hard time scoring points.
Lane
I was
Johnson out is very bad
Yep.
for them.
Yep, he's out. I mean, both teams are very banged up, so it's kind of hard to kind of tell in terms of, I think you said, Michael, about the Niners, about it really kind of relies on Brock Purdy, right?
Mhm.
And you kind of said the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I 100% agree, because you could either see the Brock Purdy from a couple weeks ago against the Bears, or you could see the Brock Purdy that just happened against the Seattle Seahawks with the number 1 seed in place. So it's kind of a toss-up. You can say that for a lot of guys, but definitely for a system guy like Brock, like, we're gonna have to definitely see what happens. And then Jalen Hurts is the same exact way. I think you don't really kind of know what Jalen Hurts are gonna get. And I picked the Eagles to win the -6. I'm like, am I confident with it? No, but I'm looking at both teams. I'm thinking to myself, well, if I'm gonna go with one of the teams to win, I'd say, okay, the home field advantage. And I think that the Eagles tend to play really well. I mean, they obviously played really well in the playoffs at home last year. Besides the Commanders game they lost, right? At home last year?
Yeah.
No,
they won. They won that one. Duh. Because they won the Super Bowl.
The Commanders beat the Lions.
Commanders beat the Lions. Thank you. Commanders play the Eagles in the championship, and they lost there. Yeah, sorry, I got a little mixed up. But yeah, I mean, I think that all the games today are going to be pretty good and pretty close. But if I had to make, I mean, the Steelers and Texans, I guess I can allude with Grant there if I had to really pick one. But I do think that even that type of game will be close. I think all the games specifically will be close.
Yeah, I just think that's going to be the lowest scoring game, so that's why it's going to be toilet bowl. But
yeah,
but then again, I could see the Eagles Niners game being first 1-14 wins that game.
Right.
Just because you never know what Brock Purdy you're going to get, and you don't know what Eagles defense you're getting.
Yep.
Yeah. No, guys. I mean, I think we all made great statements on this. I mean, we kind of, could mesh, game of the week and favorite games of the week into one topic here. Because I'm going to say it, my favorite game of the week was last night. It's the Bears game. And I mean, I'm pretty sure Michael is going to agree with me. And I think I know Ben's, but I don't want to say his because that's for him to say. But I mean, when your quarterback, of the franchise throws for 361 and 2 touchdowns, that is a pretty good stat line. I mean, and let me say something. That is also only on completing 50% of his passes, and he also had 2 interceptions. So that means that he got some good chunk plays last night, because 361 on 24 completed passes is, let me do the math on that. That's like, I want to say like 10 to 12, 13 yards per pass.
I legit called it during forecast. I said basically everybody. I said if the Bears are going to win, they're going to get a lot of chunk plays, because that secondary for Green Bay is just terrible. If they can't bring up 4 specifically, it honestly reminds me if the Pats specifically losing to get Herbert. If they don't get 4 right to that awful offensive line, and you're just going to give a massive chunk plays on the back end. The Packers just don't have either without Micah. So that's, I think, why I saw Caleb specifically got very comfortable in the pocket in the fourth quarter. And I think partly because they got tired, and second, they just didn't have the personnel.
And I just did the math. That's 15.04 yards per pass. Now, I did do 361 divided by 24. I didn't do 361 divided by 48, but still, I think 361 divided by 48 is...
Well, he only completed 24 passes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that would have been half anyway. So, I mean, 15 yards per pass is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if you guys saw this quick breaking news when it comes to injuries before we allude. The Jacksonville Jaguars left tackle is out today.
Okay. Interesting.
Cole Van Lanen.
I didn't know that was their starter. We did say his name. I just didn't know that was their starter.
Yeah. They're saying specifically that's massive.
You got a black screen, pal. I mean, we can hear you, but your screen is black.
It's because he's on.
Sorry.
Thing.
I'm very sorry. I'm on my phone doing this. Yeah, it's significant from what they're saying. So yeah, just really quick, I want to put that out because I mean the Bills obviously don't have a great pass rush, but they definitely probably can make matters worse for T-Law if their guy's out. So I don't know.
And that's the left side, so that's his blind side.
Yep.
But
so Ben, why don't you go into your favorite game of the week? And I'm pretty sure I know who it is. But
it's actually not Pat's Chargers as my favorite game of the week. Nope.
I think it's the game we were just talking about.
I don't know. I mean, I could definitely say a lot of them are. I low key am very interested to see how this Texans Steelers game is.
That was not on my bingo card. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, because
I respect it at the same time.
Because I mean, when you look at favorite games, like, of course, like I could be biased specifically, but I want to kind of go out of the box here. And the Texans, to me, I think everybody's been raving about them when it comes to their defense, right? But their offense, I'm very curious to see in terms of what CJ can do this year in the playoffs, because I really have loved him. But when it comes to the playoffs, just something always every year, whether it's offensive line, whether it's just him just making boneheaded plays. Like if CJ specifically can be a very competent quarterback, that team is definitely has a really good shot to make the AFC title game because of that defense. And the Steelers, I mean, I know obviously you guys are not Rodgers fans, and I understand, but I'm very curious to see how the Steelers do because on Monday Night Football, they're one of the best Monday Night Football teams and football in Pittsburgh. They have like some crazy record going right now in Pittsburgh for Monday Night Football games. So they're very successful in those. So I'm very curious to see specifically what type of Steelers team we get and what type of CJ Stroud that we get. Because I do think points are going to be hard to come by with that Texas defense, but I think the addition of DK Metcalf is massively big for the Steelers. Because I think Rodgers played really well last week against the Ravens, even without DK. And so if DK could come in and be the DK that we've seen and we know about, and he's probably going to be playing with an edge after the suspension that he had to go through. He's probably like, I need to get back on this field and I'm going to ball the hell out. But I said it during forecast. I think I told Nick this because he was talking about about DK, and I was like, yeah, DK's obviously being back is massive, and it is, but the Texans have the personnel to counterpoint that, and that is by Derek Stingley Jr. matching up with him, and he's one of the best man-to-man guys out there in football.
I would honestly say he's the best man-to-man guy in football.
Yeah. So, and the Texans with D'Amico Ryans, I think to me is my favorite defense to watch when it comes to personnel because they have the guys on the edge of Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter, and then they have the back end too. And they basically can just say, listen, with the Steelers specifically, they don't throw the deep ball much, even though Rodgers can be a very good, effective deep ball thrower. But if the Steelers want to win this game on Monday night, they're going to have to get some big chunk plays over the top because that is one little spot where you can maybe expose the Texans defense.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean,
very fair. That is very fair.
Yeah, no, Stingley on DK is gonna, they're gonna obviously DK's gonna get the ball. He's DK, he's gonna catch it.
It reminds me of Pat Surtain and who there's another receiver that it's always a cinema matchup. Man, I'm trying to remember. I mean, Lattimore and Mike Evans That's always like really fun.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's always a really fun one.
What team is the guy that matches against Sertan on? I can maybe answer that question.
I don't even remember I don't even honestly remember the player. It's a very good receiver though. That's all I do know. I'll probably get it to you guys probably after this, kind of knowing my luck. But
is it Diggs?
It's not Diggs, but that's a really good guess.
I'm just trying to think of AFC, because I don't think it's anyone in the West, unless it's Keenan.
Not really Keenan.
But I don't think it's anyone in the AFC West.
Yeah, I mean, you could say a lot of guys specifically. But there's always this one.
AJ Brown.
It could. Well, AJ, I think, was definitely up there for consideration. Scary Terry is up there as well. Man, there was another guy though that would always go against Pat, and they would have a really good battle. I don't remember who it was, but this Stingley and DK definitely has that really similar vibe to it because, like you said, Mike, DK is definitely going to get the ball. They're definitely going to find ways to get him the ball, but it's the matter of how the matchup is played. Does Stingley just basically play man the whole entire time and basically said, listen, I'm just going to chip the hell out of you? Because DK is strong. He is very, very strong. So he's going to be able to probably be able to get away from some of those chips that Derek has. Or does basically the Texans say, listen, we're just going to bulldoze the hell of Rodgers. We'll play some zone and basically say, listen, DK pretty much have everything he wants to get, but it's just going to be all screen passes and everything under.
Yeah. Why don't we go into there are 8 head coaching openings this year. And I actually looked them up on Twitter just so I could get them all right. So the Dolphins, Ravens, Titans, Giants, Falcons, Cardinals, Browns, and Raiders are all looking for new head coaches. Now, there's probably like 2 on this list that I did not expect. For example, one that's on this list is the Ravens. I did not expect that. And I think that there is, argument for the Falcons to have at least thought about bringing back Raheem Morris. I'm not necessarily saying that I'm shocked at it, but when you win the 4 out of your last 5 games and you go 8-9 your 2 years as a head coach, I think that should warrant you a 3rd season. But the Falcons didn't think so because they fired him like right after the final buzzer in his last game. And we'll see Matt Ryan actually chooses as the head coach, because he is the president of football operations for the Falcons now. And honestly, that position was created for him specifically, with him in mind. They had other people in there for interviews, but when it was announced that they were going to interview Matt Ryan, I'm like, that job's going to him. That's why it was created. But I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on the head coaching cycle of this of 2025?
Go ahead.
You go first, Mike, if you want.
Coaching's not my thing. Coaching is not my thing. I don't know this stuff.
All right, I'll go. Yeah, I mean, I kind of said quite a bit during forecast, but I'll kind of, retract kind of what I was saying about it. So obviously Harbaugh, I think, is the biggest one. The biggest.
Oh, he's the bell of the ball. He's the bell of the ball this cycle.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think I kind of look at a couple teams and lose for Harbaugh. I think the top 2 that stand out to me are the Miami Dolphins and the Giants. I think the Giants.
I think the Giants should just give him a blank check. I think that.
Yeah.
Whoever does get him, just give him a blank check and give him whatever he wants. But I think that the Giants will want to get a head coach that's experienced. And I mean, Mike McCarthy is in this cycle also. But when you have the chance to get Harbaugh-esque or Harbaugh himself, get him and give him whatever he wants. And honestly, he's built great staffs before, and yes, he does have, game collapsing problems, but you want someone that is experienced for Jackson Dart in that whole offense and defense there. Because honestly, despite the collapses for the Giants, they do have pieces on defense and hell pieces of offense too. So we'll see about that.
Yeah. I think. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think Harbaugh specifically is definitely going to be looking at the Giants. I mean, the Giants really looked to our head coach since mid part of the season because they fired Daboll. So I mean, they obviously were kind of the the leader for everything. The Dolphins, I think, at least to me, my gut at least tells me right now. I mean, there were reports out a couple weeks ago that they were going to keep McDaniel and move on from Tua. They are even asked Tua after the season, would you be open to a new fresh start? And he actually said yes. That's probably because he didn't play the last couple of games, and he's probably thinking to himself, like, I want to prove myself again. And the Dolphins, I think, want to do a massive overhaul. I said this team specifically on forecast, and that's the Cleveland Browns for McDaniel. The Browns specifically are kind of a rebuilding team right now. They're a very young group, and McDaniel's a younger coach that could kind of be there and kind of really kind of go through everything with Shador and kind of that overall group that they have there. I think Stefanski's still a very solid coach, but there's some coaches that are out there that are veteran coaches that are just built better with ready to win rosters. And
Yeah.
I think Stefanski, I mean, I said it with the Ravens. I was thinking to myself, why are the Ravens looking at Stefanski? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, Stefanski is probably more built for a ready to win team. I mean, I think when he was helping with the Browns, one thing specifically, guys, that a lot of coaches get fired with is it doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad overall coaches. It's just kind of matter. Sometimes the overall ownership wants to look at a different direction.
Or
Sometimes
they
it's
want to see if they can win faster with someone
some,
else.
sometimes it's the coaches that honestly want to move on. That they kind of are asking, like, close behind doors, like, listen, like, we had a great overall time. I mean, I think that's partly with Harbaugh. And I said it on forecast myself. I said, yeah, of course the Ravens moved off from him, but I'm thinking to myself, like why? Like, there obviously had to be kind of something. And my gut tells me that he obviously wants to go somewhere else, and the Ravens want to kind of go with somebody that might be a little bit younger, like Brian Flores, who they actually interviewed. And yeah, I've noticed kind of a trend happening, or at least around the league. And yeah, I don't know. I think even with Belichick, the last couple of years in New England is like he's not a great GM, but he's someone to kind of stick it out. And he obviously didn't have the last couple of years because he's just not more effective with kind of teams that are younger teams. He's just not as great of a coach that he is. Of course, he wasn't great this year at UNC. I'm very sad about that, but you can kind of see that too, right? Andy Reid. Look at Andy Reid, for example. I think Andy Reid is in a perfect situation with Kansas City. They have a lot of talent. I mean, obviously, they didn't make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
They have a lot of talent, whether you want to hate it or not. I think the coach that kind of really sticks out to me is kind of a very wild card type of coach, but a lot of people hate him is the Bengals and Zach Taylor. I think a lot of Bengal fans this year, even there was a fan this year that got kicked out because he was wearing like a Zach Taylor shirt during one of the Bengals games.
Wow.
Bengal fans hate Zach Taylor. And of course, a lot of the drama was about Joe Burrow this year when he was not playing. A lot of comments that people are saying about, he was even saying about, like, would you anticipate yourself to being a Bengal on term? And he said, I think so. But he's just like, he just kind of has a monotone voice of, anything could happen. So, Aaron Glenn, too, with the Jets. Were you guys kind of shocked that the Jets didn't decide to move on from Glenn in his first year, or do you think that they did not give the Jets the best roster for him to succeed in the first year? Because I think
it was the roster.
I think it was the roster because okay. So first of all, Sauce Gardner, when he was with the Jets, didn't play much either because he was injured or something. And now I am still shocked at the fact that none of their defensive players got an interception because I'm sorry, Nick, if you're watching this.
The Jets do the best things in the bad way possible.
But I mean, you have to understand that if you are the coach for the Jets, the Browns, or
the Raiders,
you are set up to fail. I mean, so in fact, whoever is the next coach of the Browns, I am sorry for you. I am very sorry for you. But let me tell you something about Stefanski. I'm going to give you a dark horse place that he could be a head coach again, and that's the Falcons, because Michael Penix is not going to be. I don't think he's going to at least start the year because of his ACL tear. And honestly, I think he should just quit because he's already gotten it. Like he's done it. He's tore it like 3 times already.
Do you feel like Penix is getting the Tua treatment in a little way?
Maybe.
I don't think Penix. No, Penix was good. It's just more of they're the run heavy team because you have Bijan and Algier, but Penix was really good this year.
But here's my thing. I think there is a possibility that Penix comes back eventually, but if you want, because you still can't get out of Kirk Cousins' contract because you paid him $180 million for 4 years, and who was Kirk's offensive coordinator during his most successful years in Minnesota? Kevin Stefanski. So you at least give him someone he's familiar with for a couple of weeks. I think that's a smart. It's not necessarily. I'm not going to say it's necessarily a coach that you want to stick with for 4 years. Maybe you say, okay, here we'll give you a year to see how you do. But just maybe expect Stefanski to get a pity head coaching job maybe and say, if it doesn't work, we're gonna let you go at the end of the year. But I could also see where they stick with Stefanski for a year or 2. But really, even the GM isn't gonna have much say in who the head coach hire is for the Falcons because Matt Ryan, being the president of football operations, he's actually the number 1 decision maker there. And honestly, I would imagine he wants to go with someone, maybe a younger guy. So I also could see Clint Kubiak being an option for the Falcons as well. I do imagine that the choice for the Falcons will be offensive minded because usually teams go from if you had a defensive coach, your next coach would be offensive, or if you had an offensive coach and he's fired, your next coach would be defensive. I don't know who it is, but whoever it is has some good pieces there. He's got, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts has finally come into his own.
Kyle Pitts, if he stays, because he'd be a free agent.
That's I didn't think of that. You're right.
I feel like a team is going to give Pitts the bag too.
Oh yeah, after the season he just had.
My team for him is the Bengals.
That's a good choice. That's a good choice.
Because I was saying because I think the Chiefs are going to go get Isaiah Likely.
That would be nasty for them.
That's who I think they're gonna. That's a little dark horse there.
That would be nasty for them.
I imagine. I could imagine Kelsey retiring, but at the same time, I could imagine him playing.
I think he wants to run it back, and he's going to have a very Gronkish-esque way of doing it because he's like, well, I could probably be podcasting and do something else, but he's like, I probably want to try to get one more chance with Pat coming back. If Pat, I feel like if Pat, like he was with Pat for the remainder of the season, they missed the playoffs, I think he's just gone. But the fact that Pat got hurt, I think there's kind of like trying to think of the way to say it, like a jail out type of way. Like he's just
Cinderella story way out.
Yeah, like I don't want to go out this way, like in a way of I didn't go down the ship with my guy. I guess if that's what kind of makes sense. Like I didn't go down the ship with my starting quarterback. It wasn't obviously like his fault because of course Pat, he had a fluke injury, right?
Right.
Pat Mahomes. One thing I do like about Mahomes, and I like Mahomes a lot compared to maybe some other people, is Mahomes is a tough SOB. Like, it takes so much for that guy to get off the field, even when he's banged up. And I respect that a lot because there's so many quarterbacks. There's J.J. McCarthy that specifically got hurt just a little bit, I think. And he's just like, I can't go. And I'm like, dude, it wasn't even that bad of an injury. Like, and he went to the sideline and he was just kind of just sitting there.
Being a baby.
I'm like, dude, if you want to have your shot, like, yeah, of course, if you tear something and, of course, there's nothing you can really do, but it's like, but.
Yeah, I don't think that McCarthy is the answer there in Minnesota. I'm not necessarily going to say that he's a bad quarterback. It's just you can't necessarily be successful in the NFL if in college you never throw for 3,000 yards.
He gives me a Mac Jones with mobile type of vibe to me, where I do think that he definitely could thrive somewhere, but it has to be the right system. And I don't think
QB.
I don't think he. Yeah, and I don't think he's a long-term fit either. Like, I hope he starts for the Vikings next year because we actually face the Vikings at Gillette, and we would absolutely destroy that team. I really do.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. In order for you to actually be considered to be a long-term option for your for an extension to be the quarterback of your franchise, you have to start every game of the season. McCarthy hasn't done that yet.
And another thing too is Jettis. I mean, that's the most important piece. Like, what happens to Jettis long term? And Jettis is looking at the situation. Is like, I can't keep being with, rotation of quarterbacks. Like, eventually, I want to go to somewhere where I can win and be with one guy. And that's why I've been on the Cincy with Justin Jefferson trade for so long. If it could ever happen,
that would be so awesome.
I would love to see that.
It would be gross.
Let's just throw this out there. Even if it's just 1 year of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson. Let's just say that for the next 2 years, Justin Jefferson is in Minnesota, but the year after that, he's like, trade me to Cincinnati. Let me end my career in Cincinnati. Let me see if we can
end the career in 3 years.
Well, okay,
maybe
not end.
He's 20. He's 26.
He's in his prime.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Receivers.
He's been in the year for only 5 years.
Really? Wow, that doesn't seem right. But you might be right, Michael. I mean,
but I hate to cut us off early. I'm heading out. I have to leave. But
yeah, we're almost done anyway. So you're in a good spot. You're in a good spot.
But all right, y'all.
Have a good weekend. Or have a good week.
I'm a Pats fan today.
Let's go.
I got you. Don't worry. But later.
See you, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, this we got a great slate of games today. I mean, I'm probably not necessarily gonna be in big of NFL watching today because my team already played. But I'm probably gonna watch the Bills game. I'm gonna watch the Pats game. But I mean, tomorrow night, I don't even think it's worth watching. You know,
we'll see.
We'll see. But that's gonna be it for us because we're at our hour. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next week for the divisional round. I can't believe that I'm saying that already. I always think that the divisional round and the NFC Championship or AFC Championship are the same week for some reason. I get those.
It all kind of puts it all together. You know, the weeks kind of, and really that week that's between the championship and the Super Bowl. You know, that week of just literally nothing. The Pro Bowl is just such a waste. It kind of just all bundles together. So obviously, I feel you.
Yeah. So have a good football Sunday, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Go Pats.
Go Pats.